Before I begin, I just want to say that these last couple of anime episodes have been actually doing a pretty decent job at adapting the content from the manga. One of the things I've noticed is that because the anime has such slow pacing, the pacing has actually worked in the fight's favor because it actually makes Luffy's improvement in combat seem more gradual and much more believable, if you ask me. Also, like Brule is somehow much more annoying and weird in the anime, which I would have thought impossible, but they accomplished that as well. But above all, the incorporation of the sound and the music into the fight just makes it so much better. I mean, the OST for Katakuri's theme is amazing. It just sounds like a rocker instrumental combined with like a Game of Thrones theme. It's great. I highly recommend that you go listen to it if you haven't. But recently there was one scene that really just stood out to me and like reminded me of how important sound and animation actually are in this, because it was a great moment in the manga, but the anime just made it work that much better. You have Katakuri walking up to Luffy and he's like, man, these people are annoying. These spectators are annoying as hell. And then Luffy's like, well, they won't be able to stand soon anyway. Activate King's Hockey. Whoosh! And the blast starts like making the mirrors explode, the fodders faint, like buildings start cracking and stuff. It's a great moment. Again, a great moment in the manga, but the intensity of it just gets amplified by the sound. No matter what I may think about the end result of this fight, the outcome of the fight, and the things that led to that outcome, I mean, I think I would be pretty crazy to say that this episode wasn't phenomenal. I mean, they really took this seriously and showed this chapter the respect that it deserved. The quality of the fight sequences in this episode is so good that it just makes a whole bunch of other sequences in the anime look bad. It's like, how can you even go back to watching your normal One Piece anime episode after this? It's like, you can't. Like, you've shown us what you're capable of doing with the art of animation. One of the animators sent out a tweet saying that everybody in the studio did their best for 870 and that he really hopes that everybody will love it. It just shows you how great of a job they did, that I don't like the outcome of the fight and yet I love this episode. He also mentioned that the episode had been in production for 2 months, so that just gives you a better understanding of how much time it actually takes to produce quality of this caliber. Got new insight in this episode, kind of like a new perspective, because the episode actually opens up with Rayleigh during the time skip where he's training Luffy and Luffy's showing off Gear 4th, and yet even after showing off Gear 4th, Luffy is still incapable of landing a hit on Rayleigh. So it's kind of like implied filler that's kind of like where he starts thinking, well, maybe I should develop something that's a little bit faster so that I can land a hit on opponents that are still capable of dealing with my Gear 4th speed. So in that sense, because of the implied filler, I kind of got the same feel from this episode that I got back when Naruto was going on with the Naruto versus Pain fight when Hinata steps in to try and save Naruto. And I say this because there was a lot of implied filler in that episode. There's so much of it, and some of it is the episode is based on such an important chapter that I do think that maybe the creator in both of these cases gave the studio some notes. So I really kind of feel like Oda, at the very minimum, may have, handed the studio some notes on like how to structure the episode and what to include and, Rayleigh's presence. There's also a quote by Shockey who says that Rayleigh used to say that only those who live in the present are capable of creating a new era. And I was like, wait a minute, is this going to be like relevant information? Like, are we going to get a flashback like in the manga or at some point in time to like when Rayleigh actually said this? I also did notice that animation wise, the Gear 4th shots that were used in the flashback were the same shots that were used during the Doflamingo Gear 4th transformation, and some of them were used during the Cracker fight, but whatever. There was a lot of creative liberties in the transformation sequence that I really loved. The steam taking the shape of a snake with fangs and eyes, that was great. I also like the panning of the camera, especially this shot right here that we see like Luffy, the back of Luffy's head, and then obviously the incorporation of the Jolly Roger once the transformation is complete. Music was on point. I like how they incorporated different tracks from several other epic moments in the anime into this one episode. I heard the Rob Lucci
Gucci track. I heard the track that they play when Luffy uses Red Hawk on Doflamingo. Obviously the Gear 4 transformation music, and then also the Katakuri music as well. There's some pretty cool zoom-in shots to Luffy's face, which I appreciate because I think it sort of adds this element of insanity to Snakeman that the other modes don't have, where it's like, you can tell that Luffy's gone wild. He's gone crazy, and maybe it's that sense of insanity combined with his desperation to just want to finish the fight, because he's also getting exhausted. In addition to Katakuri, which, by the way, the voice acting for Katakuri in this episode was phenomenal. The scream, the yelling, you can tell like they're both reaching that pinnacle moment where it's like, it's now or never. We have to finish this. And they actually split the iconic manga panel that we got of Katakuri, where he kind of looks like this deranged Doberman, this deranged wolf of sorts. And they split it into two. One is this one, and then we got to zoom in into his eyes where they're actually glowing. So I thought that was an interesting choice. Oh, and by the way, the hole that he made with that attack, I mean, I didn't see it in the manga, I didn't appreciate it, but it's actually a pretty deep hole. He sent Luffy into the depths of the mirror world right there. Now, when the chapter came out, I did notice that some fans felt kind of underwhelmed by the new mode, because I think the assumption was that the speed was going to be, affecting Luffy's body, like his entire body. But instead, it became very obvious that the speed boost was primarily focused on Luffy's arms, right? And so, we had an understanding of what that would be because we had the manga, but I don't think I ever really truly grasped the magnitude of the speed until I saw this episode. I mean, these arms, they're flying around the room like bullets. Real talk, you want to know what it looked like? It looked like Katakuri was dodging security lasers. That's exactly what it is. It's that Gear 4th laser security. And this is how crazy Katakuri actually is. The man he turns himself into a donut. He's spinning around like Sonic, right? And even like as he spins, he's capable of using Future Sight to dodge these punches. It's crazy. Also, Armament Hockey, his block mochi, there are scenes, I love this episode so much, there are scenes in this episode that not only show that Katakuri's Future Sight is superior, because again, it's still activated as these bullets are flying to him, but also his block mochi, his armament hockey is still stronger than Luffy's Snake Man. Because there's a scene where Luffy punches it, and he's actually blocking himself, but at one point he does punch Luffy back with the block mochi, and Luffy's like, ow, that hurt! So even with Snake Man, Katakuri's armament and observation hockey do not lose their edge. What an absolutely tremendous opponent to have in this series. Luffy's final attack is the King Cobra, and for a moment there, because of the color, I actually thought that, wait, is there some fire in Luffy's attack? But no, it was just like, again, the creative liberties to add snake-like forms to Snake Man. And I thank the studio specifically for providing this new insight via their animation to how fast, how overwhelming Snake Man can be, and also how sneaky it could be. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Like the video if you did. I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel for more One Piece related content. Comment down below with your thoughts about the episode. I'll catch you guys later. Take care. Bye.